Welcome to Agoracom CEO Interviews, a production of Agoracom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about recent important news and developments at their company in layman's term. With me today, I'm really happy to have James A. Briscoe. Amongst other things, he's chairman, CEO, and chief geologist of Liberty Star Uranium. The company trades on the stock symbol LBSR. You can find him on the web at libertystaruranium.com. And of course, on Agoracom, look up the Liberty Star Hub, where you can look at other interviews that we've done and we're going to do in the future, as well as have great conversation with the company and its fellow shareholders. Now, what are we here to talk about? On October 14th, the company announced that its Hay Mountain project drill holes were selected for drilling on 2 outcrops showing high-grade copper. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, George.
So before we get into some of the plans and the go-forward plan for Hay Mountain, give everyone at home who hasn't heard about either Liberty Star and or Hay Mountain a 1-minute overview as to why you're so excited about the future Hay Mountain.
Well, Hay Mountain for me has a very long history. I've been involved in the Tombstone area for a very long time, but in 1972 a PhD candidate did a very exciting study of the whole Tombstone district covering about 130 square miles. And oddly enough, he came up with a very large geochemical anomaly completely removed from the remainder of the Tombstone district. I paid attention to that for a whole variety of reasons, which I'll get into later, but apparently nobody else did. So I've been following this now for 42 or 43 years, and with each passing year when I had the chance and the money to spend a little bit more time and work on it, it got better and better and more enhanced. And then in September, after we had already done very detailed geochemical sampling and a new type of geophysics called ZTEM, which is exactly necessary for finding porphyry coppers, we realized that there was a gigantic area of broken rock, and by using a Niton X-ray fluorescence analyzer came up with things that we couldn't see, which were anomalous copper and other metals, and that resulted in our discovery of Dawson sticking through the sediments, and they're very high grade, up to 22% copper. This indicates something directly below us and is very similar to the Bisbee deposit only 15 miles away.
And for those of you at home who didn't get a chance to read the interview yet and are learning about Liberty Star for the first time, I want to take an excerpt here from a quote that you had in the press release, and then I'll move on to questions. But your excitement here was palpable. We said, quote, "This is the specific target we've been searching for before kicking off a drill program. It gave us this completely unexpected," and now I'm just paraphrasing, "gave us this completely unexpected outcrop. We made the breakthrough we needed. This find is exciting and meaningful because it's the largest exposure so far located at Hay Mountain and is similar to outcrops in the Bisbee mining district 15 miles south," which is what you just said. So, when I read that, I figured this is more than just your normal course press release about a property. So let's get into the questions that I want to ask you about and help everyone at home better understand here. Question number 1, for the fieldwork season at Hay Mountain, describe the relationship between, quote, boots on the ground observation and the technology Liberty Star has used. And I believe we're going to be putting up a slide of that.
Well, I want to retrace a little bit to Silver Bell, Arizona, where I took a job on graduation from college, and I was recommended on that job by the head of the College of Mining Engineering and Geology, and when I gave him a sheet of a list of potential jobs and asked him which I should take, he said, "To go to work for Harold Cartwright Arco at Silver Bell." And I said, okay. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions in my entire professional life, because what I did learn is the philosophy of boots on the ground, which Harold practiced assiduously. Harold and his lifelong partner in geology, Kenyon Richard, have discovered probably more copper than any other team in the world and are in the Mining Hall of Fame. But Silver Bell has direct relationships to what I see at Hay Mountain. And while we felt that there wasn't any outcrops that we could see mineralization in, and we also took verbatim some of the U.S. Geological Survey maps of the area, which we have now found to be quite in error in places. We did geochemistry of several types and airborne geophysics, ZENHEM specifically. But we ended up with a very, very large target that is 2 miles long for the copper anomaly and 3 miles long and 2 miles wide. It's very difficult to pick out a target within that, and despite the belief that porphyry coppers are uniform, they are not. Another thing that I found out at Silverbell. Therefore, this fall in September, we started walking around with a new niton, and what we found was that the limestones that from even a few feet or a few hundred feet looked like bedded limestones, on close examination they were not bedded except in a generalized sort of way, and in fact they were intensely brecciated with fluidized breccia, and that's a bit of a technical term, but these are characteristic of porphyry coppers, and I've never seen quite as much fluidized breccia, and so the only way to determine this was walking around just like Kenyon Richard and Harold Courtright did, boots on the ground. And so we not only did boots on the ground, but knees on the ground to closely examine the rocks. And the results were dynamic and stupendous, and that's when we found very high-grade Gossan.
So let's talk about the two drill targets, because you did bring up the Gossan. So they are over Gossan outcrops. Why is that important to the point that you say in the press release, the quote that I said, that this is the specific target we've been searching for before kicking off a drill program?
Yes, I'll have to do a little bit of technology here, but what we found is that the rocks had been mismapped and that we thought we were in the Colina limestone, but after the boots on the ground work, it turns out that we're almost certainly in the underlying Earp formation, named for Wyatt Earp, and beneath that is the Horkia limestone. Now we have a consultant working with us that is very experienced in this type of limestone replacement deposit, and when we discussed this with this person, the response was, we are drilling in X deposit and we're finding almost all of the ore is in the Horkia formation, and you must be just a short distance above the Horkia formation from what you've told me. And we came to the conclusion that this Gossan, which is high-grade material and it's about 100% iron and copper with 22% copper. This is definitely leakage from probably directly below, and it looks very much like the discovery outcrops at the Copper Queen mine in Bisbee, 15 miles away, that is the same kind of a deposit.
Jim, you've mentioned Bisbee a couple of times. Let me ask you, in addition to Bisbee, what other mining districts in North America or even in that area have had this type of geology?
Well, we're at the centroid of a 200-mile radius of this kind of deposit in Mexico, New Mexico, and southeastern Arizona. And we have a map on our website that shows these by name in Arizona, not in Mexico and New Mexico. But the Cananea deposit in Mexico is only about 30 miles away, and the La Caridad, which is the largest producing copper mine in Arizona in Mexico that I had a hand in discovering. And then the Mission Mine, Silverbell, Morenci, Chino, New Mexico. The list is endless. And we have put out a news release and with a link because the now head of the Arizona or the University of Arizona College of Mines and Geology, Mary Polton, has given a very compelling talk about porphyry coppers in Arizona, and in her finalization of that talk, she points out that in spite of all of the mines in this area, we have only scratched the surface, and there is yet more to be discovered than has been discovered so far, and they will be discovered undercover, and that's essentially what Hay Mountain is. So we're in the heart of the world of porphyry coppers, and we're in an area that's been ignored for 10,000 years. Aboriginal prospectors never dug on it. Spaniards, Mexicans, Americans, which were thousands of prospectors, never touched this. And because it's so subtle, except for our methodology and, of course, those Gaussian outcrops, which also were never seen, which is absolutely stunning to me, gives us a starting point that is not technical indications. It's actual indications of mineral that has to be directly or almost directly below us, and not far.
It sounds like you're really connecting the dots, not only internally with your own work, but taking external work as well and incorporating that. So let's talk about next steps here. So the last press release stated that once drilling begins, you do core drilling to a depth of as much as 2,000 feet. The question I have for you is, if indications are for near surface, why not try rotary drilling?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, George, because there's a lot of confusion about the efficacy of rotary drilling. I will tell you that at Silver Bell, I was probably one of the first in the industry to use rotary drilling. It had not been used much before then. And we used regular circulation drilling. Of course, now we have reverse circulation drilling. We have down the hole hammer reverse circulation drilling. But the reality is that when you get those cuttings out, they're very small, and quite frankly, you can't really tell the detail of the rock formation such as we need. And furthermore, the mineralization is always soft, so it all goes to powder. And beyond that, there's been some horrible examples of where the rotary drilling has smeared high-grade material up and down the drill hole. Best example is the McCoy mine in central Nevada, silver gold mine. And when they cross-tested their rotary drilling with diamond drilling, they found that there was major errors, and they had to re-drill the whole mine. And that cost millions of dollars. It is not appropriate in this case. We need diamond drilling, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, and again, that's where the experience of both you and your team, especially you on the air, really come into play. And I think that's fantastic. We've had a lot of conversation about Hay Mountain, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more conversations. Things really start to move forward from this press release. So we're going to have you back again, but for the purpose of closing out this segment, is there anything that we haven't touched on yet so I can give you the final remarks for everybody at home?
Well, I would ask everybody to look at Mary Polton's article, and we've sent more or less 5,000 copies of that, or at least links to that article. It's very compelling, and it suggests the copper price will be going up soon for reasons that she explains in a most compelling manner. We think that this deposit, because of its size, and again, just the copper anomaly, is 3 miles long and 2 miles wide. So that puts it in the size of some of the largest in North America. The total anomaly is much, much bigger. And if you look at the illustrations of the magnetic anomaly, which lies at 6,000 feet below us, and I guess I ought to say, indications are that this deposit may go from quite shallow down to a depth of perhaps as much as 6,000 feet. So we're talking about a massive possibility here. And so this is truly exciting, and everything, including the geochemistry, the geophysics, and the two new Gaussian outcrops, all fall one on top of another. There's not any splaying of information outside. So we think that we're right on the right track, and we just need to drill.
Jim, I want to thank you for taking the time out to be here. Just by looking around your office there, you've got a lot of work you're doing. You do some in-depth study. It's probably the most dynamic office environment I've seen in an interview. So I think I speak on behalf of everyone at Agoracom and even all your shareholders and prospective shareholders out there when I say thank you for taking the time to really talk to people. And we're looking forward to having you back a few more times as things advance here in the coming couple of months.
Well, good. We just put out a news release right now, and maybe we can talk about that soon. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you and the shareholders and other interested parties. And this has been a great opportunity. Thank you very, very much.
No, thank you, Jim. And you can bet on if you put out a press release, I mean, that's great. On air, we're announcing a breaking press release. So you can bet that we're going to have you back on even sooner than expected. Thanks for joining us, everybody. You've been watching Jim Briscoe. He's Chairman, CEO, and Chief Geologist of Liberty Star Uranium. The company trades under the stock symbol LBSR. Now, to get more great in-depth information about the company, because Jim was going a little easy on everybody to give us a layman's overview, don't hesitate to get yourself over to libertystaururanium.com. Otherwise, if you want to ask questions and get answers from your fellow shareholders and the company, get over to the Liberty Star Hub on Agoracom. We can have great curated conversation. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and we're going to see you back here very soon with Jim.